Hello, and welcome back to our Beginner Programmer's Guide to TypeScript. In today's video, we'll be diving into the world of conditional statements and control flow in TypeScript. Conditional statements allow our programs to make decisions and execute different blocks of code based on certain conditions. So, let's jump right in and start mastering TypeScript's conditional statements and control flow. Before we dive into the specifics of conditional statements in TypeScript, let's quickly recap what a conditional statement is. In programming, conditional statements allow us to create branching paths in our code based on certain conditions. TypeScript provides us with several powerful tools to handle conditional logic, so let's explore them. The first conditional statement we'll cover is the if statement. The if statement allows us to execute a block of code if a certain condition is met. The code inside the curly braces after the if keyword will only execute if the condition within the parentheses evaluates to true. If the condition is false, the code inside the else block will execute instead. TypeScript also provides us with an alternative to the if-else statement, known as the ternary operator. The ternary operator is a shorthand way of writing simple conditional statements. If the condition is true, expression if true will be evaluated. Otherwise, expression if false will be evaluated. The result of the evaluated expression will be the value of the entire ternary expression. Moving on, TypeScript also supports the switch statement for more complex conditional branching. The switch statement allows us to check the value of an expression against multiple cases and execute different blocks of code based on the matching case. The value of the expression is compared against each case. If a case matches, the corresponding block of code is executed. The break statement is important to exit the switch block after a case is matched. If no cases match, the code inside the default block is executed. Another useful tool in TypeScript's conditional statements is the concept of truthy and falsy values. In TypeScript, certain values are considered truthy or falsy when used in conditional statements. Understanding these values can help simplify your code. For example, image 4 in this example, if some value evaluates to a truthy value, the code inside the if block will execute. Otherwise, the code inside the else block will execute. TypeScript considers values like true, numbers other than 0, non-empty strings, and non-null objects as truthy values. Values like false, 0, empty string, null, undefined, and NaN are considered falsy values. Now that we have covered the basics of conditional statements in TypeScript, let's move on to control flow statements. Control flow statements allow us to control the flow and execution of our code based on certain conditions or loops. One of the most common control flow statements is the for loop. The for loop allows us to repeatedly execute a block of code a specific number of times. The loop starts with an initial value of I equals 0. The loop will continue executing as long as the condition I less than count is true. After each iteration, the value of I is incremented by 1 with I++. The code inside the loop's block will execute in each iteration. TypeScript also provides us with other loop variations like while and do-while loops. The while loop executes a block of code repeatedly as long as a condition is true. The code inside the loop's block will execute in each iteration. On the other hand, the do-while loop executes a block of code at least once before checking the condition for further iterations. The code inside the loop's block will execute first, and then the condition will be checked. If the condition is true, the loop will continue executing, and if it's false, the loop will terminate. Additionally, TypeScript provides us with control flow statements like break and continue. The break statement allows us to exit a loop prematurely, while the continue statement skips the current iteration and proceeds to the next iteration. These statements are particularly useful when we need to control the flow of our loops based on certain conditions. Now that we have explored conditional statements and control flow in TypeScript, you're well on your way to mastering the foundations of the language. Practice using these concepts in your own programs, and don't be afraid to experiment and explore more advanced topics. That's all for this video on mastering TypeScript's conditional statements and control flow. I hope you found this information helpful on your journey to becoming a proficient TypeScript developer. If you have any questions or need further clarification, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more beginner-friendly programming tutorials.